Welcome to Over the Falls podcast with myself, Dave Lewis, Med Rendell, and Luke Dukes Jones. This week, we sat down with Jamie Ambler, who's an ex-professional boxer from Aberystwyth with 86 professional fights to his name. We had a really interesting and in-depth conversation about his childhood, his upbringing, what led him on the path to boxing, and facing the likes of Tony Bellew and everything in between. We hope you enjoy. Professional fights to his name. Welcome to the show, Jamie.
All right, thank you
Welcome,
for having me,
Jamie.
guys.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Right, we obviously want to talk to you about your boxing career and your mindset throughout that time.
Yeah.
But I'd like to start right at the beginning if I can, and start with your childhood.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Born and raised in Aberystwyth?
Yeah. That's exactly
Yeah. Did you enjoy school?
Yeah, it wasn't a full-on academic person, but I got through,
Yeah.
and I didn't have much direction of what I wanted to do, so I took a chance doing a carpentry course, but I didn't finish it. I did 2 years in Cardigan.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but I was obviously amateur fighting as well then.
Of course, yeah.
So, and the pro, obviously the transaction of turning over to pro came over.
Yeah.
So I jumped to that, and I sort of phased out the carpentry and just went with the pro boxing then.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which, let's going back to the school stuff just quickly, James. Which
Yeah.
primary school did you go to? It was
I was-
Plascreek, wasn't it?
Yeah, Plascreek, yeah.
That's
That was
it.
the one.
So I remember
yeah.
him. We were like a couple of years difference in us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do remember you in school.
Yeah, you're a bit younger, right?
Yeah.
Jamie?
Yeah. Just turned 38. So.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
2 years, sort of lower than us, 3 in school
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're 40, apart from you, Med.
It's coming.
It's on its way.
It's coming real
Yeah.
close.
It's on its way.
Yeah.
End of
End of
May.
I know.
End of May.
They like
coming.
Creeping up quick. What do you enjoy most about growing up in Aberystwyth?
Just like I've always been a fan of because I had friends who went to uni in Aber, and I'm quite working for Aber Uni because of obviously it's always been a big icon,
staple of the town,
yeah,
isn't it?
staple
Yeah.
of the town,
Yeah.
and I've enjoyed working, and I've had a lot of student friends, and obviously you boys like the surfing and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the land, the having stuff
Yeah.
on my doorstep, the beaches, and
There's loads of positives to Aberystwyth, isn't
Yeah,
there?
it is.
Yeah, I think there is.
and yeah, it's just I think it's a great place to bring up a child as well.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
So yeah, it's one-
Yeah, you guys we chatted about that in the last podcast.
Mm.
I think it was the last one, wasn't it? It's a safe place. It's
yeah, that's it.
and it's
When
beautiful
I'm
in
living
the
in
summer
town,
when
and I got, I got Penniness up the road.
one side.
Yeah.
I got the beach, and I just go, everything's
Yeah.
just sort of in my. I can just point that direction if I want to go that way, and
Yeah.
It's
It's an easy place to live, isn't it?
yeah, it is
Yeah.
easy, and
How many kids have you got, Jay?
I got one.
Yeah.
5-year-old Dominic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose, I don't know if you know, obviously, it's a great time to say I'm expecting another one.
Oh,
hey, wow.
Yeah,
Congrats,
so
man.
I thought
Huge
we kept it quite
congratulations.
quiet, but I was going to
Cat's out of the bag now.
say, because obviously we had a bit of bad luck with one of them. My girlfriend lost one, and
Yeah,
so
sorry to do that.
you guys with the pregnancy, it's a stiff ride anyway.
Yeah,
Ups
it
and
is.
downs,
Very
and
hard.
if you get with the movements and how the women feel, but obviously when you lose one, it brings that extra anxiety and
Yeah.
stress.
And the
Definitely.
fear.
I brought that a little bit more to this one, so we found she hasn't had an easy ride, but she's been induced on the 20th of this month now.
So-
Oh wow! So
wow,
it's,
so it's
like
far along.
It's coming out.
Yeah. We've kept it pretty quiet. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
So I
Wow.
thought I wanted to keep it say, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a good time to say. Obviously.
Amazing.
congrats.
Oh,
Do you know
congratulations, mate.
do you know what you're having? Are you?
A boy, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So-
Cool.
Mad Max. So he's rock the boat, rock the house. so Max.
So, brother,
Yeah.
amazing.
Good.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Oh,
so
well
I'm
done.
excited.
Oh, 5-year gap as well.
Yeah.
Protector. Wow,
So-
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
It's out the
Congrats.
bags. It was a nice time.
No,
Nice
definitely.
time to- well,
What
nice.
what school does Dominic go to?
He's in St. Paul's.
St. Balance, yeah.
Very
Good
nice
school?
click there, and
Yeah.
small,
Yeah.
but a lot of it's a good community. It's everyone mucks in,
Yeah.
and they have culture night where all the families cook different foods.
Nice.
You go in and then you could try a bit of all different nationalities, different foods.
Sorry,
Well,
is this in Plas Creek now?
St. Padans.
St. Padans.
Oh, sorry, St.
Yeah,
Padans.
St. Padans, yeah,
Ah,
that's
right.
where-
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
And
yeah.
obviously Polish family's Polish, and they're quite Catholic.
Yes.
So and it has got a Catholic background of all. It's quite Christianized and yeah, it works well. And
That's good.
Paulina's sisters went to that school, and Kaya, the middle sister, she's still in the school. So Dom's got someone to really have a bit of balance with,
Nice.
and look up to,
Lovely.
a bit of direction. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, a couple of our friends went to St. Padans, and they all like
Enzo
really
did,
things to
did
say
he?
about it. Yeah,
It was Enzo. Yeah, he said it was a great school.
Yeah, it
Auntie
is.
Oh,
Ryan,
yeah.
Auntie Ryan went there.
Yeah, it is great.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, Aberystwyth is a great, and as you say, it's a great place to sort of like raise a kid and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how were your your younger years at home when you were growing up in Aberystwyth, sort of thing? You know?
Yeah, obviously like any other kid, growing up and doing the old meeting your mates out in the woods. And, building dens.
Yeah.
Up in
The way to
woods
be.
with one big fair. And I don't know if you know the old flats. The old Plasmarolog, but I've turned up into luxury flats above there, where we're living above there. And I remember they used to have an old brick road to the tip down there. But it was
the
all
old tip
grass. But we had had a rope going down. We used to abseil down, make dens down the back and stuff.
Wow.
Is that where you sort of grew up?
Yeah, that was my childhood there. And obviously I moved between a few different houses with my mum's boyfriends.
Yeah.
And two boyfriends within some areas, but my mum always kept that flat on.
Okay.
She always kept it as a safe zone.
Nice.
So that's why I always remember a lot of my childhood bringing up, and there's a lot of good memories because obviously it's quite a big block of flats.
Yeah.
And
So
there's a lot of
I
friends.
before I moved to Treddall, when my dad first met my mum, and I was 1 or 2, I lived in those flats too.
no way.
My mum and dad got a flat in there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember always looking at it from surfing, from
Yeah, you
trap,
could see
because it would keep the marker of where the waves would be.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dad would always tell me your mum sprayed. Talk about my mum now. She sprayed some Christmas fake snow on one of the glass windows.
Yeah.
And no one could get it off. And he goes, "You can still see it." And I was like,
God.
"What?" And then they obviously knocked it down there.
Yeah.
But that's mad. I
That's
wonder
good,
if you were
yeah.
there at the same time. 2 years younger than me, are you? Yeah.
I did.
Maybe.
They
You
had
might
a
have
few
just,
friends.
May have just
Yeah, it's passing. Yes,
They've done a hell of a job up there now, though.
Yeah, they're
different
lovely.
completely different.
it
Yeah.
is.
It is
Yeah.
a hell of a job. Can we talk about home life growing up, James?
Yeah.
Can you go into sort of any detail with your mum and everything like that? I mean, would you mind talking about that at all?
No, I might be a bit blunt in some respect.
Absolutely fine.
Don't worry
but
about it.
yeah, I'll be trying as open as I can be. Obviously, she had her demons, and
Yeah.
We all do, man.
the balance there. I'm not gonna lie, she gave me everything. She and did her best, but there was that few dark areas where the balance was where you see some things, and we used to have large numbers of people in the living rooms.
Yeah.
And she was a biker. She used to have lots of bikers in the house.
Yeah.
Used to come in and so, and she was a very big festival person. So
Okay.
but it was different and upgrading, but so there was some cool memories as well.
Yeah.
So, you take things and pictures up. There was a bit of darkness in some things, with the alcohol
Sure.
and drugs,
Yeah.
abuse and stuff. So,
Sure.
it was. Yeah, you try to have a balance and not think of all the negatives.
What sort of age were you at that point?
Um,
Were you going into teenager years or?
yeah, well, no, she's always been in that sort of bubble.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's always been there, but obviously in different strengths.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, so the balance is sometimes she'll be having a good day, and some days
Yeah, sure.
she'll be on the sofa, half asleep. You don't know what's going on, and you're walking around and you're just on your willy-nilly. Yeah, so in that respect. But then she'd take me away. She used to work hard, 2 jobs to try and get me used to go down Torquay Devon every year,
Amazing.
like
Nice.
holidays, and work like any other. Try to give you the best. I was always clean.
Yeah.
I was always, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, she provided as best as she could for me. So
Oh, bless
Fair
her.
play
Yeah,
to
it was
her.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Was she like a single mum then, essentially?
Yeah,
while
single
you were
mum.
growing up.
yeah, that was it. Yeah, and obviously in the flats, yeah, she just provided as best she could. Yeah, and
Oh, brilliant.
yeah.
Good play.
I mean, like I say, you don't have to answer this, but what about your dad, James? Can I ask you about that? Do you know, was he
Well-
around at all, or?
Even though like she had the addictions in her life, she was always honest to me.
Yeah.
Honest, didn't lie about anything. She told me who my dad was straight away. Like he's a local guy in town, Penparky,
Okay.
and I know of him. My mum, like literally, was like had a balance where he didn't really know.
Okay.
So she sort of kept me away in respect because
Right.
she always wanted a son. So I was she was happy without, you know, trying to reach out. She was happy to
Just you and her sort of
just
thing.
you and her sort of thing,
Yeah.
having that balance.
Okay.
But as I'm getting older, I'm starting to venture and maybe, you know, go down like my Auntie Yana and stuff from Cardiff, saying you have to go out there, find your family roots. You got half sisters in Aber and stuff,
Right,
you
okay.
know, and
Oh.
you know,
Yeah,
get out
yeah,
there
yeah.
and just
Yeah.
think. But because I've done everything on my own and I'm quite a closed book, and I've done it, I'm a bit anal in that way, isn't?
Yeah, I get
Like,
that.
But I'm suffocating myself a bit as well. And for Dom,
Yeah.
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
Just do
I'm
it.
starting to learn and try and venture out of my comfort zone and do that thing.
Yeah.
Maybe send one of the half sisters like to come and meet up for a coffee and have a chat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
stuff.
a good start,
that's
isn't it?
real
Yeah.
brave as well. It's
Yeah,
real
yeah.
brave.
Yeah, it's like probably just egging me on, and like probably this conversation what I'm talking about now, over 7 years of being with Paulina, she doesn't get anything out of me. It's pretty.
It's the reason why we do this podcast in a way, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
like us three included, and men in general, we're just not great at it. Including myself.
No.
We find it hard to talk about something that's either difficult to talk about or upsetting to talk about, or I don't know.
Yeah.
The list goes
It
on.
is like ingrained in some of us, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
I wanted-
couple
yeah.
that with, you know, pardon the expression, but quite a difficult childhood and upbringing. You know,
Yeah.
that can be a real.
Yeah.
I don't really want to
I wanted
open
to
that
do
door,
this
sort of thing.
more as well for Paulina as well, because
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
very closed, and
I'm sure
I shut
she'd really
her off.
appreciate you opening.
And I wanted to open up because, like, I invited, to be fair, Pony Family Lovely invited me in, because obviously it's just me, isn't there?
Yeah.
And invited me in, they treat like amazing. So it's like, and I'm always hearing their family in Poland, their family, you know. There's no, I have no story, you know. So it's like,
Yeah,
I want to get something, like, I'm going to take her to my auntie, and like, she met my cousins, like,
Yeah.
down Cardiff and stuff. But it's like, I feel I'm not giving her enough, you know. I feel,
okay.
like, and for myself, I feel like I should, you know.
Oh, that's
for example,
amazing, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully,
We're reaching out and just like you're saying, just maybe just ask them, maybe just go for a coffee or
yeah, exactly,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah, real
something.
gentle.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's it, yeah. So yeah, that's
I mean, yeah.
Next
I mean, the
chapter.
worst thing that can happen is they don't want to know.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You know, and at least you know then. And
And I'm sure
Yeah.
I imagine they would go for a coffee. I don't know, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you'd like to think that if you extend
yeah.
your arm and you're asking, you know, to meet up or whatever. So that's amazing,
Yeah.
Jamie. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Like you said, you've had quite a tough upbringing in a sense. There, obviously, your mum did everything she could for you. I mean, do you think it's
Yeah.
affected you at all, like growing up now in the way you're bringing up Dominic, for example? Have you learned from the experiences, or is there? Can you go into
Yeah.
that at all?
I've learned as in, obviously, alcohol and drugs, that you understanding they're bad, and like as in, yeah, but I like the balance. I find because I didn't get all them things like off like my parents and stuff. I don't get. I'm a bit more of a pushover, you know, to Dom. like,
Softy to Dom,
yeah,
is
softy, because I know I didn't
Yeah.
get these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, mummy, couch Robux. Sorry. So I've learned, but I've come a bit more of a soft touch, and because I find when I lost my mum and I went into the boxing, I had no fear.
Yeah.
I didn't have no fear as in like I'd go and do anything. Like there was no fear as in like I'd just go and do something. If I was going to box an opponent, I didn't care. There was no fear as in I had no one to disappoint and had no one,
Wow. Yeah.
I was relaxed and people just couldn't understand. And that's probably a big part how I got through a lot of my fights, relaxed and just no care.
I was going to ask about that, but I didn't quite realise it was going to be linked to sort of your upbringing and
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, did you ever get like scared, like training towards one opponent? Was there one opponent that you were most scared of? But I guess you just answered that in a way.
It was more that
just pretty relaxed.
It was so relaxed, and you get like opponents like where you got like you go to the venue and you're weighing in, and the opponent. You want to know who your opponent is, do you? You want to know your running order when you're on the venue and your opponent.
If
I didn't have that fear. I didn't have where. And I'll tell you a story, like, it just shows the relaxedness of what I was like. Is like, I would go to the venue, find out when I was fighting, and I was a middleweight, so I was quite high up. So I was like on 8th or 9th.
Okay.
So I'd scram my food down me, and then I'd just find a little corner and get my head down and just go to sleep.
You could sleep?
Yeah, and then it was literally like everyone was like pacing around, going on, like, looking at me.
Yeah, definitely. Is he all right?
And then one of the trainers said, "You better give him a kick. He's fighting in 2 fights. They're only short fights.
Yeah.
2 minute fights." He goes, "You better warm him up." And Nick obviously knew me, how a relaxed character I was. So he gave me like a little nudge about, I think it was like just coming up to the end of the second fight.
Okay.
Like the last fight before mine.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, you better warm up, get changed." Must have threw about 3 punches on the pads. So, I'm done. I went went out there.
Warm up.
Yeah, and I went out there and I remember fighting and I won best boxer of the night and won the fight.
Amazing.
That's incredible.
And then I went back to the changing rooms and I remember the trainers of a couple of the camps just scratching his head in the corner and looking, saying, "Was that the boy who was just sleep on there?" He was just one of it. He's a good kid. They just couldn't understand the logic behind. But
incredible.
Yeah,
man.
it was just a matter of I was just so
relaxed about it.
Just relaxed about everything. A lot of people eat up the nerves and everything. So I wasn't, to tell the truth, I wasn't a big trainer. So I don't know how I got through some of the fights, but it must have just been a lot of nervous energy. Eats up yourself of how much, like if you're not fit or something and train.
If I was in your position,
and
I was fighting some guy, I want to know absolutely everything about that guy.
Yeah,
I'd be spewing.
I want to know how long their fingers are.
I'd
be so nervous. I imagine being sick before it, and
the relaxedness.
It's incredible.
It's just crazy. Like, and it came to a matter of like, because when I had a structure. I'd go to the gym, and like when I was, obviously my mum was still alive when I was boxing amateur, and obviously she had demons. It was a chance to get out of the house, and do something and break up the day, and so it was.
So what age were you when you started boxing?
I started about 13, 14.
Right.
Okay.
And it was just like any other guy goes up the gym, not expecting to fight. Just does fitness,
Yeah.
Look good with a pint outside the Glen.
Handy on a Saturday night.
Yeah. You just don't expect. Like, we started with 3 guys at the same time as me, really, and
Who were they?
They were better than me, really.
Who was it? Who were the 3 guys with you?
There's like James Drake, and there was Malcolm, and I think Luke Berridge. There's a bubble of us who never really done much, but they were better than me, just beat me up and stuff. Like. But I soon found my feet, and I started overtaking, and before I knew it, I was carded up, and I was having 4, 5, 6 weeks fights were just rolling, before I'd get out of bed.
That's amazing.
And they could say, "You're fighting," and I wasn't one to say, "I'm not done that, I'm not trained." It was a weekend away for me.
Of course.
And I used to get on the road and, like, obviously got directed in my head. I was going somewhere. I was going to do something. And I was going travelling, and
escaping a bit.
Yeah, escaping in some way, and
Yeah.
the fight wasn't my worry. Is when the fight should have been my worry.
Such a position to
Yeah,
be in.
yeah,
Isn't it?
it's incredible.
Wow.
I find that,
Yeah,
I find that
it's
really
your,
interesting.
escapism. Like some people escape
Yeah.
somewhat of reality sometimes, whether it be like listening to music or playing a computer game or going outside or whatever, and then that's crazy. Sorry if you don't mind, 'cause you mentioned it a few times. I've lost a parent as well, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
So sorry if I'm bringing up some wounds
Yeah.
here or whatever. But you say your mum was there throughout some of your amateur career.
Yeah.
How old were you when you lost your mum, if you don't mind me asking?
I was about. She's been passed away now, 11 years in November.
Okay.
So I think.
Maths is terrible. So 27, 28.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. I think I'm not overly sure. Like,
Yeah, but in your late 20s.
Yeah. That was
roughly in your late 20s is when.
Yeah, and she was there with, like, obviously, she came to my first amateur fight.
Yeah.
She was a bit more mobile. Like, she had like lots of problems with sciatica in her back and all like issues like that and stuff. And she did come to my first amateur, and I remember boxing a short kid, quite dumpy, and I was like, yes, I fancied this one.
Yeah.
My first pro fight, I fancied my chances. My amateur fight.
Yeah.
And I remember just pulverizing him, just winning every round. And it was because it was my mum's pride and joy. It was the proudest day of her life, you know.
Oh, lovely.
Amazing.
So yeah, I remember giving her the trophy actually.
Oh, did you?
I think she walked around town with it for a month, showing everyone stopping with it, like, yeah. It was
lovely. Oh, that's a
she-
good memory, man.
Yeah, she was every street corner. It was about me, talk about me, and everything. Yeah,
She's obviously very proud of you, James.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we've jumped onto the boxing stuff already, so I mean, we may as well just flow into it. I mean,
Yeah, hover on that.
No,
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
what made you decide to start boxing? You was it like a couple of mates just sort of thought, I'll go up there and see how we get on, or what? I mean, what was like the deciding factors that made you start boxing?
It was more for, obviously, because the fitness side is such a
pretty
standard.
intense, isn't it? Yeah.
It was more for football, playing for obviously local Pen Parky, and just to bring me on, or any sort of fitness. But yeah, there was no intent to actual fight, but because I wasn't that sort of kid.
Okay.
But
So it didn't come from a place where you'd want to.
no, I didn't.
Vent
it wasn't
or-
it just came. I just had I found out later. I just had a very, very, very natural toughness. I don't know if it was because of me. I mean, it's just boys were just trying, like, I remember just like big heavy like punches go boys, and Nick goes, oh, you had a hard night that night, and I just didn't have an inkling, like I didn't shed like I was hurt or nothing. He said,
Wow.
I go, you just couldn't like believe the toughness of like of the character I was. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I enjoyed it at one point. You know, it was obviously the body was bruised and sore and stuff, but
It feels good though, that doesn't it?
yeah,
Like,
it felt like I was doing something. You know,
Yeah,
I was in the spotlight. You know, people. They success. I've been meeting cool people. I was finding directions, and I've seen people earning good money, and I wanted that, you know.
Yeah.
It was because I felt it's quite easy. I don't know, like, as in people who've had the drugs around them, is to slip into their path.
yeah.
I was going to mention
Stuff.
this. I think sometimes it's you either go down the same path or you go the opposite way.
Yeah.
And you kind of go totally
the complete
away from that.
opposite,
It seems to me anyway.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah,
people I
that's
know,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
and
I
obviously
find people find it quite easy to go the easier route.
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go that way because that's how my parents were.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I meant
slip in.
good as in the way you've
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
You seem like you've gone against.
Yeah,
that,
I get.
sorry, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, and I think going against it gives me like more drive, you know, as in some respect, as in because it was tougher. going against the grind, it feels more preachable. Like
of course.
Like
hold on to that. That's a really
more,
that's important.
More like I've gone and done it, isn't from the odds against me sort of
exactly.
thing.
I was thinking about it on the drive over here, as in like some people would say like you were dealt a pretty difficult hand in your early life growing up, and you've like sort of like beaten the odds to turn out to be like a great father figure to Dom, and now you've got one on the way and everything, and it's like as in like you've beaten the odds. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Sorry, we're just jumping a little bit back, but I did have one question going back to sort of your child and your upbringing and things, Jay. I mean, do you have any advice for anyone who may have been through something similar, or someone who may be going through the same thing, like right now, for example?
It's just, I find it's probably like a very, like, as you know, is in the bubble you have, where you surround the people who have got success, who want to win. There's a big thing surrounding and stuff, and just don't give in, and accept. You've got I know some people get handed easier starts than others, but use it and change it around. Use that drive of where you didn't come from to push forward, and it's like everyone else. You've got 2 arms, 2 legs. You can get your own destiny if you put your mind to it. It's in your hands, and if you turn it around, you will feel the benefit and feel proud.
Nice.
Yourself. Yeah.
Some good advice there, Jamie.
Really good. Really good advice. Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah.
Boxing again. Sorry, mate. So you said your first amateur fight. He was a little short, stumpy guy. I hope he's not listening.
Yeah.
He might be. I don't know.
Maybe outside your house.
Yeah.
I hope he's listening.
Who wants some? Who wants some?
So how did that fight actually go? And you said you weren't nervous at all.
Obviously, you have more the nerves of embarrassment.
Okay.
Not the fear. I didn't have the fear fact, but the more of when you do. I find that as a fighter,
didn't want to lose.
Yeah. You have that. You have that. Like, it's humiliation, isn't it? Really, you got to go back. You're going to be printed in the Cambrian News, or someone's going to ask, "Oh, how did you get on?" And there's only many time many fights that you can explain. So, "Oh, yeah, I did that," and then you're explaining your fight. But I find you have to have a little bit of edge, otherwise you're not human. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, but.
Yeah, something wrong. Something seriously wrong with you.
There's a machine like that. But the fear factors. I wasn't intrigued who I was fighting. I wasn't. Sometimes I would weigh in and I wouldn't stick around to even see the boys weigh. So I wasn't bothered.
You could have been like 20 pounds.
Yeah, I know. I just went and then. Yeah, and it's obviously like. It's another story, I went down South Wales and I was due to fight, and I'd be mucking around there in the gym with my weight and stuff, and Nick was going, "Do you want the fight?" I was going, "Yeah, I want the fight," but I knew it was a bit heavy, so I chanced it. Went down, I starved myself, not drinking all the way down and stuff, trying to make the weight, but I still come in 5 pounds heavy. So they walked off from the fight, and Nick was furious. He said, "You want the weight?" Basically panicking, and saying, "We got down." So what I didn't know, there was the 3 times Welsh champion there, Francisco Borg.
Okay.
So he wasn't due to fight on the venue,
right?
But and he's a bit heavier than me. So Nick goes, teach him a lesson. I only had 4 or 5 fights. Put him in with him. Teach him a lesson. Yeah.
So he was telling that world champion guy to give you
he was telling their trainer, have you got anyone else on the bill?
Okay.
And then Frano was there, obviously on the stage.
Right.
He goes, yeah, he'll have a move. He'll take him around. But it was a contest. It was an exhibition. It was a foreign contest. So so I remember Nick saying, "Well, we've got your fight." So I just didn't ask the question. I was like, "Oh, yeah." So
we were intrigued at all.
No, I didn't know what was going on. I just thought, there was some other guy who just comes to the boxing match with one little scrap. So I remember just getting in because obviously my awareness, I saw this shadow of a guy coming out the stage, and thought, "Fuck, he's a big guy." So I thought, I'll go with it. Went in there. He caught me with some big shots. He closed my eye, and I was fighting in. I was hanging, but I was coming back. I'm outworking him, and they were getting a bit panicky in the corner because I only had like a handful of fights. I was a raw novice. I mean, they were 3 times watcher, so they were screaming in the corner saying, "Come on, work your way, we go." So they were getting a bit switchy. Nick was going, "Go on, have a go." So it was getting close. Have a go. And then I remember getting out. I was like, "Oh, bloody gumshoe!" That was tough. So I went off, and then I remember Nick coming back to me and cheering. She goes, "Do you know what you just did? You just went in with the 3 times Welsh champion Francisco Borg." I just didn't acknowledge it. I just kind of biting my sandwich, Cool. Yeah, cool. And
who's next?
And then from there, my journey sort of begun. Like Nick looked at me and he said, "He's a tough kid.
Yeah, he's got something. Yeah,
he's got something. He's a tough. We can work with him,
I bet he turned some heads that night because he bet, like, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I bet that's sort of
It was. I remember catching good shots, but I was coming in my own back, and I was peppering him a load of shots going in, and they thought they were going to lose on passive work because he weren't throwing enough. But what he was throwing was in short spells but heavy. Okay, they were getting a bit all like twitchy about like the situation that I was going to outwork him. So they, and then
good grief.
It was a bit of a eye opener. Yeah.
Good effort.
And that was your 4th pro fight, did you say?
For amateur.
So, sorry, for the amateur. How many amateur fights did you end up having before you turned pro?
I had about 30, low 30s, I think it was.
How many years did that take you to sort of cram in those 30 fights, if you know what I mean?
I think it was from I had my first amateur fight when I started in the gym around about 12, 13, and my first amateur fight when I was about 14. Yeah. And then they accumulated up to when I turned pro when I was about 20, 21.
About 20, 21, okay. Yeah, so 7 years. Yeah, you had quite a lot of fights in that time then.
Yeah, it got packed, and the amateurs, they do rack up quite quick. And the Box for Wales select against Scotland, up in Scotland.
Amazing.
And got to the Welsh semi-final and lost to the boy Matthew Bolt. Remember, a good kid. He ended up winning it.
Great.
So and after that, they have like favourites in the Welsh. If you're not in the Welsh squad and in the select, and you're not going away on these sort of funded exercises, you're sort of in the bubble. Right. So I made a decision. Nick said, obviously seen enough toughness to go and turn over and on the pro route then. So
wonderful.
My journey begun.
Do you remember your first pro fight? And also, because I know a little bit about boxing, but I don't know everything about boxing, obviously. So on your first pro fight, how many rounds were you fighting on your first pro fight? Because you can sort of raise them up.
You do like 3-2s in the amateurs, and then you do 4 3s.
Okay.
So that extra minute is like death.
I bet it is.
I can only imagine. It's like, God. It's
4 rounds, 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So
the time stops for that last minute, I bet.
Yeah, and it is. End it. The extra minute is painful.
I bet.
And I remember fighting on my pro debut, and I was up against a kid who was unbeaten. Because what we have in Aber is, I decided there's a golden hour rule where you can't fight within a certain hospital machine, and we didn't have that machine, so you couldn't have any pro shows in Aber. So I was sort of in a bubble where from where I was when from fighting from Aber, I need someone very financially well off to fund me, to put me on as a home fighter in other venues, or I could get on the road and fight. So I thought my professional debut, I think it was Liam Stimpsko or something it was. He was a Bristol guy, and I remember he was a very fan's favourite. I remember it was quite quiet at the show, and then there was a roar. So there was a lot of people watching him.
Yeah, a lot of tickets sold for him.
So I thought, I'm up against it a bit, like a favourite. But I managed to box really well, and I had a little tip off of this lady Jane Couch. She's a WBO world woman's boxer. She said, stick at him, and he's a bit of a quitter. And because he's had a little bit of a training camp where he's a bit of he wants it his way sort of boy. Right. If it gets tough, just keep at him.
You'd be his worst nightmare then, wouldn't you?
Yeah, basically? So I kept on grind him down. And then I had him down, And to be fair, I think as he went down, he dislocated his shoulder, so he had to retire.
No way.
So I got my professional debut, fighting away from home against an unbeaten fighter. Won my professional debut, so I was like,
wow,
I'm the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Take it out of the way.
Retire.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Goes down as a TKO.
Yeah, TKO.
Win for you, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And so I was like, it can't get any better there. So my professional debut, fighting someone in their own backyard, expecting to lose.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Do you remember any particularly like really tough fights? Any, like, for example, because the three of us obviously aren't boxers, but did you ever get like the first couple of punches to the face and think, oh my god, this is bad?
Hands of steel.
Was there any standouts?
There is a couple of. I think it's down Birmingham, and I knew the kid was a banger. And you have certain gloves you do, and you have to wear the same
different weight,
gloves. Like, but there's harder level than others. So I was like, every one in the venue was on the BBE gloves.
Okay.
And then we have like a Mexican Ray glove, what is a really hard leather puncher's glove. So if you don't punch, you punch in these gloves, sort of thing. I remember going and thinking, why is my fight the only one with these gloves on?
Hang on, so you had the tougher gloves on?
Yeah, I had the tougher gloves on.
Right.
Nick goes, he's a puncher, he's a big banger. He stopped his last one. I was like, oh, great. So I was like a bit like, and then I remember he perforated my ear, so it was just ringing in the fight. And I remember just, do you know when your jaw's open or something, and then it knocks you in alignment? So I couldn't bite my teeth together. So every little tap on my jaw, I feel like I was having little electric shocks. So I was just biting in, and then
God!
And it was quite a dirty fight with rubbing heads going in, and then he lost his head a bit, and he lost his cool. It played in his favour a bit because he calmed down a bit, and he was swinging a bit wild, so he could get my shots off a bit. But I thought, oh god, hurt my money there. That was tough. Yeah.
Did you? How did that one end? That fight?
I lost. Yeah, I lost
that one.
Yeah, I lost. That was like a bit later on in my career.
Okay.
I lost that one, and then I think I won my second pro, and then I started going up against a better class.
Yeah.
And then it got tougher, and as you know, I didn't train. I liked the social life as well. So So there's some times where I was thinking, oh god, I haven't trained hard enough. I shouldn't be in this changing room right now.
Really, yeah.
So
doubts in there.
Because everyone in the home corner is very keen. You got a very more relaxed sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Talking about they're all there to win. They are like. They wouldn't have a pin drop. Like in the weight training, they're talking about like your mate stag do like the week after and stuff, you know. So it's like a total different vibe, you know. But because there's so much more relaxedness, but
well, it clearly worked for you, that relaxed vibe.
Yeah. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Was there any particularly easy fights that you remember, or was it any easy fight?
I had when I say an easy fight. It's very tough in everything. You go and hit each other.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I remember I was fighting a guy who was on. It's a great story actually. Really, he's called OJ Simpson. He's a very well-known fighter. He went to the Hatton gyms, and it's something Gray. His name is. He's Ricky Hatton's trainer.
Okay.
And, this kid turned up OJ in the gym, and he was fighting. And he was racking up the fights, and he said to him, if you hit 100 fights, I'll come back. No matter where I am, I'll come and corner you. And he was Ricky Hatton's trainer all over Europe, and he flew back from America for his 100th fight, and his 500th fight was against me. So I know
it happened to be against
you. So they made Sky Sports the televising of him. He came in his crown. There was a big publicity because he's flown over. Obviously, he was a big guy. Yeah. So they flown him. He came in a cape. And I remember him, and he had like a big
scepter thing.
Yeah, scepter thing and crown purple guy. And then I remember he hit me once when they said break, and the ref warned him. And as I was walking back to the corner, he just jumped and cracked me in the back of the head, and the ref disqualified him. I was only in the ring for literally. I think it was going back after the first round.
No way. And that was it. That was the end of the fight, and then you win.
I got paid, and he came in heavy. as well. So I was like, they paid me, because they have a ruling they do. Sometimes you can be funny, like as in, you could charge 200 up to like £200 a pound overweight on top. So I was getting, so I got chucked on a good few quid extra on top. So I was like, yes.
Quite happy with
More
that.
3
minutes work.
Yeah, I know.
Just got paid as like a massive like, so I was like, like a few more of them. And it was,
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Talking about like that money aspect of it, I suppose we've talked about it previously on different shows, and it's sort of like the work hard, play hard aspect of it. And we were sort of saying like in the construction industry, I think it's quite easy to fall into the sort of work hard, play hard sort of theme or whatever.
Yeah.
And would you say that that's maybe, you know, it might be easy to do that in boxing as well? What I mean by that is you go through like a camp, isn't it? So you're training hard, and then you come to the fight and you've been eating decent, I suppose, and then you get like paid, hopefully like a good amount of money, and then you have a blowout.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It is. And
Party time.
What I found is I went through one period where I was just only fighting and boxing. I wasn't actually like working.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I was depending on that income. So sometimes when I was fighting, it was spent because I had my rent to pay, my bills. So I was asking for another fight. So I was just doing it that way, sort of thing. But if I was getting 1 or 2 fights a month, it was a tidy income, and and it was lump sums of money. So
One,
straight in
so
the
you
bank,
fight,
so
and
you
then
can
get
do
that
stuff with it, you know. It's like, and it racks up quite quick. So it's like, where I was going in direction, I can like imagine like having that sort of like money, just lump sums. I'm not saying I was on amazing money, but I racked up some good fights. I remember obviously you fought Tony Bellew, a big name, and I got good money for that. And then I fought another guy, Martin Murray, straight after within 2 weeks. So it made like nearly like $7,000 in a month. I was like, I would never make that money.
No, that's incredible.
In that respect, and I was like walking around, you know, like $1 million man. So it was like, and then you know, one thing I do regret, I didn't save, but I travelled.
Nice.
And I went to a fair few places, and and I enjoyed, in some respect. I wish I put some money away, but at the end of the day, I was young, and I had that money, and
it's
my
hard as
childhood
well, isn't it?
and stuff. Like, we didn't go on family holidays, flying and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I think you've done it fine, man. You've gone out and seen the world, and
that's it.
you earned it, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The money's there to be spent anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is.
Just depends what you spend on it, I guess.
Can we talk about that Tony Bellew fight?
Yeah.
So sort of, I don't know, like how far through your career were you? I'm guessing it was your professional career when you fought him. And then what point was he with his career, if you know what I mean?
He was just coming through, just the rankings. He was coming through. He was a red hot amateur.
Okay.
And
I was going to ask that. You'd heard about him, had you? Before?
Well, I didn't do my homework much about what came through. I watched boxing. I probably watch it more now than what I did. But for me, as an Olympian or something coming through, I wasn't really very clued up. So I wasn't really clued up how good he was. But I could feel the press and the lights. And
it was a bit different for this guy. It was,
I could feel. Yeah, and you come out like a steam train and you could punch.
What was that? Was that his debut? His professional debut.
Yeah, and from then on, obviously, it's a big memory thing when you started someone's career. So and he knows me as a humble guy through the boxing. So like when I boxed in a lot of good venues like the O2, Millennium Stadium, and all the big arenas like Manchester Arena, Birmingham Arena, you know, the big venues, you know, O2. So big venue. Then obviously you come across and see him.
Yeah, of course.
And he's always stopped and like said, "Oh, it's my professional debut," and he's got like his camera out and took a picture to put on his.
That's amazing.
So,
you'll never forget that.
Yeah, you'll never. And he always puts,
amazing.
And in his documentaries and stuff, he always drops my name in and stuff. So
that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
This is so interesting to know the real nitty gritty behind the scenes sort of thing about boxing, because I've never been like a massive fan of boxing per se. I appreciate the fitness and it's a real grind. I did jiu-jitsu for a while, as these boys did as well. So I know sort of what it feels like to train and have a physical sport.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know, it's beautiful. It's
there's like really there's a lot of crapness.
The sleeping before fight.
Yeah,
That's so
there is a lot of
funny.
crapness in the sport, and obviously you got to have that someone looking after you and a bit of balance, because they will get you beaten up on that circuit. They don't care. Like if they want their boy to win. They want to keep him winning, and they want to get him a British title shot. So they will lie to you, and they'll try and say, "Oh, he was ill last week, or something's happened." But you got to listen, go with the flow and the.
Wow. It's a two-part question almost. So you said, talking about regrets and things, you said you wish to put money aside a little bit, but moving on from that, I mean, do you think, even though you had a really good career, if you weren't in Aberystwyth, do you think you should have maybe moved from Aberystwyth maybe to South Wales? Would that have helped, or do you think there's a hindrance where we were based?
Yeah, it is, and there's a big thing about, I could have maybe gone. Obviously, you want a financial backer, like to buy an opponent in for you. That's what a lot do. They buy him in and maybe take. So a lot of fighters maybe fight for free for their first 5 or 10 fights, just to buy their fighter in, and then maybe get a record, and then the promoter will make it back on them, because if they get a British title, make 30 grand or something.
Okay.
But they're willing to throw that loss on that guy to get him that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a big question mark above my head, because I felt like I was good enough to, like what information I've had back to maybe get something. But I would have been on ticket sales, so I would have had to sell tickets to make the purses up for. Maybe if I didn't even make my purse up, I'd have to cover the opponents, and then they'll put me on a show, and then I wouldn't even technically be the home fighter, but I'd be coming from the blue corner. But I'd have a date to train. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, being a away fighter, if the phone goes, I might be ticking over in the gym, but they might ask for me. Can you fight in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
If I'm not that fit, or I've done something, I'm trying to lose weight and do a little bit, but you might get the opponent who's been through, say, like a 20-week camp or whatever time. You might not know his opponent, but he's had a date to train for, so he's fit. So so you get the phone call. It looks fair on the weight wise, but technically behind the scenes it's a bit of a mismatch in some respects, because it's
I've got to say that
short night notice. They don't like to. That's why they come at you, because they do in a fair way. If they 50-50, a lot of these home fighters wouldn't get the wins.
Very different story.
They want to pick you off without a training camp.
That's it. Yeah.
Realistically, they
2
think,
days before they offer you more money. They're happy to offer you way more money, but that's where you've got to look after yourself and keep fit. If you're doing it this way through the duration of your camp, because the phone could go any day, any time, because you just get up. Me and Nick, we probably clocked his car twice for the miles we've done, just got up and gone. We used to drive to Scotland there and back in a night,
Hell's bell.
Fight, and
just going back to that statement you said about the ticket sales.
I
understand, like, it's a business, isn't it? But imagine you had like serious talent, but you couldn't get the ticket sales. Doesn't that seem a bit unfair?
It does to me, and I'm complete like.
But then
I'm just thinking of, like, the black and white of it.
But then it goes to the point where you have to stick in the amateurs. You think with all the boys with the financial backing, they come through with the Olympics, and they've automatically got the funding, or they've. If you're not in that light and you turn over a pro, you're just automatically on the ticket sales or funding, because
it's just a thing. It's just automatic sort of thing.
It would. You could try and attempt to get on a home fight on a home show, but you couldn't hold him in Aber. So you're trying to ask, with obviously the cost of living, you're trying to. I've done it before, and a few of the boys down, they've got a coach down to Swansea, and then you say it's 20 quid, 30 quid for the bus, 40 quid for a ticket, then a hotel. Racks up the money. It goes up to 100. So you're trying to get enough people, trying to get 50, 60 people to go down and pay that. If it's on your doorstep and you get
very different.
It's okay, but then you're trying to get that and try and build that background up. It's a hard ask.
Yeah, of course.
In that respect, to go and do that and fight on the road. unless you've got someone willing to bank on you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You mentioned corruption like a couple of times, and obviously like a lot of people talk about the corruption in boxing.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a fight where you thought, I'm pretty confident I've won that fight, and then maybe it would go against you on the judges? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the story of my life. yeah.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Where I fought for the British Masters title against a kid who was a good kid, and I beat him. I dropped him in the 7th. I actually trained like a seasoned pro for that fight.
Wow.
Half of the time I would just wing it, or I'd go, I'm going to fight, or whatever, and I just go on my own survival skills or whatever. But this one I really took like I wanted to win it, because it's for a belt, and I didn't get the decision when I thought I won it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I've put all this training in, and Gareth Dax was furious. He was having a go at the coach. He was calling all the names in the sun. Trying to get him. He was calling all his disgraces and everything. But yeah, you try and do it the right way, and then you still get done over. So it does knock you back a bit. You think,
not right,
well, I took less money than I would on that 10-rounder.
Yeah.
Than I would have done in a 4-rounder on a Sky Sports Network bill.
Yeah. It's not straightforward, is it? It's because I'm learning a lot talking to you about it. Because I know a little bit about boxing, but I certainly don't know a lot about it. And it's great. You've got to be so savvy with your career, haven't you?
Yeah.
And obviously people try and like pad their records, don't they? And they like you said, try and get a good 8-week campaign and be like, oh, I'll try and catch a scarf guard now. Get another win on the record and try and rack up, say, an undefeated record maybe. Yeah. You've just got to be so savvy and have financial backing, probably.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes I go to the venue and I know a lot of the journeymen on the circuit, and they have, you watch them and they won't get a glove on them. It's an art alone. All they do in the gym defence, they're tucking up, they're moving, they don't get a glove on them. But they know if they get stopped, they can't fight for 26. And if it's a bad knockout, that's for like 48 days.
Okay.
So all they do is they're matched out the week after. So they're matched out. So what their main goal is to get through that fight. So they know they're fighting next week and the week after. So and I can go to the venue, and I can know you've got probably a venue full of people. I'm in the weigh corner, and I know, say there's 10 people on, 8 of them are there, not even there to win. These people are paying money to go and watch this show. I know everyone of them have come to lose. I know the outcome before the show's even started. So they're in there to fill a number, but they play a valuable part, as in Bellew and all the world title people. Without the people of the journeyman of the roads, we wouldn't be where they were now.
Well, yeah, it's an opponent at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
but
did that ever offend you, getting called journeyman?
At the start, when I started losing, I did a bit of a chip on my shoulder, but then I sort of, you go into your role and you sort of accept, I'm their way, and I did have a few upsets, turned over a few people, and they caught me, preferably when they caught me at the time when I was very fit, when the phone call went.
Yeah.
And it was bad timing for them,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It was...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was how it is. But then some days when you go into shows and you go into fights, obviously you don't have your homework. If you're like a home fighter, you're fighting, you study a bit of their styles, you can go up there. I remember going up there one time to a venue up in Sheffield, and I got in there. Nick didn't know much about the kid either, and we go in there, and you could have a feel about something, what was going on. This kid was, he's a good kid. He came out with 3 area title belts. His kid's carrying them, everyone coming out, go, Nick, he's got 3 belts. I didn't even know what was going on. I was looking around, I was thinking, what the hell's going on here? We're going in, and I'm fighting this female, area champion fight, and thinking, just going into... the no man's land,
Yeah.
Like lambs of the slaughter, So it's like going in and holding the ground, and then I remember going the distance, and I was thinking, Christ, I just didn't know what was going on. It's crazy.
Unbelievable resilience, though. If you think about it, you're going against those sort of opponents, and they can't finish you. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and the training and fit, and I turned over one. He was ranked very high kid once, and. I was fit. I remember I changed my training plan. I went through I was doing a lot of swimming, and I did different things. And I came there, I was fit, and I beat this kid. And I didn't think I was going to get a decision. Because I even went to the ref. I went, I won this. And he went like, all sheepishly and like just went, didn't want to raise my hand, but I raised it, you know. He felt like he had to. Like, and I remember him, he couldn't accept the feeling that he lost to the journeyman, and he was very sour. He spat his gum shield out and kicked it into the crowd.
Did he?
He went up the whole hotel, the spiral. I remember going up because his nose was bleeding, and just went around the whole spiral, just rubbing blood all up the thing. And he wouldn't say. His trainer made him come in and apologise and say,
bad loser, yeah.
Except and he didn't box then after.
Really?
His career finished. Yeah. So,
Honestly?
Yeah, so... it was...
Well, it wasn't for him.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, when some of the stories...
Wow. All the advantages are on their side, isn't it? So
that's it.
So it sounds like you didn't even know whether they were like a southpaw fighter.
Some
days, and then they probably know a lot about you. They're at their peak they're peaking at say 8 weeks, 10 weeks, or whatever. And they're like, right, we want to fight now, and they've trained really, really fit.
Yeah,
try and it just seems so unfair to me, isn't it? Like learning
and then
about
some of the refs are from like in the small where you got no TV and stuff, so they don't care, do they? Like, obviously, you see the quickness.
Yeah.
When the TV's on them.
Yeah, I know.
Never mind when behind the scenes when there's a guy on a small hall show.
Easy to get away with it. Then,
easy to get away, and some of the refs are from not far from the area.
I'm sure.
So
probably
they want to keep the interest of that boy winning.
Yeah.
So they get the work.
Yeah.
So the odds of us way.
It happens at the highest level, so it's certainly going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to filter down, isn't it? Because it happens
yeah.
at the highest level, doesn't it? On TV, on the biggest stage. Sometimes I watch a fight and I think like, oh, that decision is questionable, you know, and it's like at the top, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I don't think I've asked this. Well, what would you say? Do you remember your best performance? Do you remember having a fight and you thought like that is probably one of the best performances I've had? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I got into a bit of a routine where they liked me up in Scotland.
Yeah.
And I was going up there, and I remember turning over. I had like 3 or 4 wins up there.
Yeah.
And I was got quite friendly with the promoter called Tommy Gilman. He's a big promoter back at the time, and he was putting me up on the bills, and I was getting a few decisions, and I won my best boxer of the month. It was probably one of the first ever non-Scotsmen to win it. They liked me because I was Welsh as well.
Yeah.
And and I remember having a big glass trophy, and I only found out I say only found out probably a couple of years ago that obviously there was a day where I had to go back up to Scotland to pick it up, but it wasn't available. But Nick had another boy fighting because he had a few pros where he used to travel around. It wasn't just me, and he went up and they had the trophy, and it was presented by Alex Ferguson.
No way!
Yeah.
I've been Scotland. That's cool.
So I found out that, and I was like, oh, but he could have told me, but he didn't really know. But I was like, I physically wasn't going to go up there just to pick up a trophy, you know. So,
no.
But yeah, it was a nice trophy, and
nice.
Yeah, still got it this day. That was a nice feeling, and yeah.
Just you mentioned this chap Nick a lot.
Yeah.
So that's your coach, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, he obviously
Nick what was it, James?
Nick Hodges.
Nick Hodges.
He looked after me and took me all around the boxing, and to be fair,
brilliant.
Another guy who was sort of like a father figure. He looked after me. He took me, and
brilliant.
He did. He financially set me up, and the way he guided me. I feel he gave me a structure in life for times, routines, and structures. And training, and he did a lot for me. So I appreciate it.
Good.
His
big up Nick.
Yeah, definitely.
He did,
is he around in Aberystwyth?
he got a bit ill, and he cried out for us sort of to take over the club. So that was the changing point where we were always had a balance where we used to go up, help the kids, do a bit, but no one wanted to sacrifice their full time.
Right.
But when we found out he had a bit of a nervous breakdown, and we felt like we're gonna have no more boxing in Aber. We have to man up. So me and Beasley and Sean, we took over, and we've got a few kids carded up now, and
nice.
Hopefully we'll start a new generation, and we're doing a bit with the schoolboys as well.
Brilliant.
So so it's good. Enjoy and enjoy. You know, it's
That's the key, isn't it?
yeah, and enjoy giving back. It's
Yeah,
nice.
you're sort of giving back then, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I've seen some videos on like social media of the boxing club, and it looks busy there. It looks amazing,
yeah.
you know.
And I think it needed the freshmen to change. Like you go back to the days when Nick like chasing chickens and stuff like Rocky and stuff. It needed that little bit of change, you know, like as in like a bit of refreshment, and you know, times change, you know, with the nutrition and stuff, and
Of course, yeah.
people are big now, and like you get like a 12 stoner, like really like a 14, 15 stoner, you know. It's times, and hopefully BZ's just done his second coaching bag. I've done my first coaching bag, so technically now we're both qualified to take a boy and corner him in the corner.
Oh,
And
brilliant.
take him to shows, and we had that little bit of where we couldn't do that. I could only be on the outside of the ring, and we can actually take a kid to a show without Nick there. But now we've got that field where we've covered all the bubbles. Now we can get boys out and matchmake them, and we can start like a building them up.
Have you done that yet? Have you taken anyone out?
We've had one kid and he lost. We got the two kids. One lost, and we got Idris, who's supposed to fight in the final of the Welsh, but the boy pulled out.
Okay.
And we got a few more knocking on the door, but it's
how's that feel for you? Is it like real proud moment? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, and it is good seeing. And I did a bit of a work experience. I went down to a show, and we had a kid on, but I offered to corner like 9 or 10 fights just to build up that experience in the ring, because you have to be quite switched on with the stool, buckets and stuff. So I got a bit of experience up there, and
brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Do you have to be like the cut man as well? I don't know how it works in terms. I know obviously on like as it gets bigger, you have a separate cut man and things.
Yeah.
But is it just the two people in the corner?
Yeah, just the two, and you do have adrenaline and stuff and they tell you all the measurements and stuff, and what you have and what you can use and stuff. But I think BZ's done that course. I'm waiting to do that course.
So you would be sort of like the cut man and the guy,
you
know,
get the Vaseline on there.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Obviously, when you get into your bubble of the pro, like you have like 5 people working with you in the corner.
Of course. Yeah.
You have it's a bit. Yeah, but yeah, you sort of. There's the two of you, and then you'll have one in the ring, one on the outside, one talking, like pick up, do your strategy. You need to pick up your punches. If you can see anything outside the ring, I can speak. And then they've gone a bit like you can't shout in the corners or nothing.
Wow.
So basically, the only word you get to them is like on
the breaks,
sort of thing. Yeah.
So you're not allowed to coach sort of live in the round.
They can send you out the corner. Yeah. They can be quite thing about.
So you've got to wait for that 1 minute period in between the rounds where you can tell them the strategy or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that similar for the top level as well?
Yeah.
Of boxing? They can't be shouting in the corner.
You do get it, and then they will tell you to like
rein it in a bit.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, but yeah, it's usually you get someone who knows the kid, who's there just to yell. You can just hear him. He's like in the front somewhere, trying to pass some messages.
Shut up!
You can't really say anything to him.
No.
He's just shouting his head off. Yeah.
So I'm just going to go back to your career real quickly.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of talk in like rugby, football, and everything at the moment with like concussion.
Yeah.
And like being a journeyman, like you said yourself, and like obviously there's hundreds, probably thousands of boxers in the same position as you. I mean, like, what is your thoughts on it, and like, has it had an effect on you? Do you think?
I don't. It's a hard one because I don't know if it actually has. I think I got out the game in where I started to feel where I was getting a bit hurt, and as I said, with the fact of having no fear, I found when I had Dom, I had about 3 or 4 fights. After that, I found I had more weight on my shoulders, like my health, and
of course,
obviously, I want to be chasing him around and stuff. So I had more. It's like I had no worries to a big.
Really important
like
worry.
Over 20 years or something, all hit me all at once, and then I found I wasn't the right after the couple of 3, and then to be fair, I wasn't training, and then I was taking fights at quite big weight. I was getting very lazy training, and I took one at 13 stone, and then I took one at 14.8. That's like heavyweight.
Yeah.
And then the punches were starting there, and I thought,
I
got to get out, and I've always thought with other sports, you play football, you play boxing, you can't play it, and it chooses. I always wanted to hit the 100 mark and have 100 fights. So I was scared I didn't want to do it. I know it's a lot when you think I wanted to hit the 100.
An awful lot.
Yeah, but I find
you hit 86, right?
Yeah, 86.
That's over 3/4.
Yeah, but boxing
that's incredible.
Chooses when you're ready to finish. You don't get to say, really, I find.
No, I can imagine.
Do you know what I mean? So when you feel like it's
5 more knockouts or 5 more knocks in the head.
And then,
it's quite a risky game that you play. And we were speaking off air before this, and you're thinking like, you had 88, was it? Or 86. 86, and then you got someone like, Mayweather, who had that 50 number, and then you mentioned Calzaghe, and then like, that's like, it's half of the fights that you've had. It's like in the pros, I mean. It's a huge number of fights.
It's a lot of rounds as well. As
it is. When you look at
you've done it.
I was one for always going the rounds, so I don't know the statistics and odds, but if you go like I know like a guy who follows me, like he knows every minute to every round. It's like if the equivalent of every round I've done, it's like it's quite a lot of time,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. So yes.
What's I don't know what I'm gonna say. Any advice for like aspiring boxers out there at the moment? What advice would you give them? What advice do you give to the kids that you're training at the moment?
I just basically enjoy. It's a matter of and just I find is in relax. You get kids up there who are so like tense, like around and like scared to be in that bubble. Just relax and just enjoy and have like a just have like that sort of enjoyment as in got
to enjoy it, haven't you?
You got to enjoy
Absolutely.
it, and the kids what are up there now, they enjoy it, and the sparring, bringing in the sparring and stuff.
Good.
I find some people they've got it, they like taking or some are different. It's hard to. And you want to like the kids to have enjoyment in every bubble, but then you've got to have a filter where you think, you're ready. I want you to fight for the club.
Yeah.
You can see something for you.
When
you're taking a space, or I'm not going to do so much work on you because I can see this kid maybe going to fight as a schoolboy. So you have to have that sort of balance where you want them all to enjoy, but obviously
also someone going to come through a bit more.
Obviously, we want to hold a show in Aber again over
Yeah.
Christmas now. So we want a schoolboys. So how you run a show is you have your schoolboys coming on, and then you have your bigger boys coming on after.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But at the minute, we've only got really seniors. We're looking for schoolboys. So it's finding that balance really, and enjoying really is like anything. We always welcome everything. If you're coming just for any other sport or for your football or.
So you could just turn up and train.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have to fight or spar if you didn't
just
want to.
Do pads.
Yeah.
Just do pads. Yeah. If you don't want to get hit, so not everyone likes getting hit.
No. Wasn't particularly fond of it when I tried it.
No.
Hurts.
It's like a ratio. Like you get 100 kids in, and maybe in the club, like you might get one out of that.
Yeah.
It's tough,
I imagine it's
hard.
a
So
really
get,
tough sport.
You can get in football. You might get, it's different. You get a lot more coming forward, and your filter system is a lot easier to pick because you get good kids who play football, and it's a bit more enjoyable. But trying to have a selective of, if you've got 20, 30 lads, you might not even get one who maybe fight.
Sure.
But you've put all them hours into everything. So it's the main just enjoy and
good.
And anything you do really is having that enjoyment. I find.
It's amazing you've come like full circle, sort of with your boxing career, and then you're sort of giving back, and you're sort of like tutoring and teaching these kids like you had when you were 13, 14 and you were training with Nick, and it's amazing.
No, it is. You're passing on your knowledge and your experience to these kids now, so that
it's good to see them progress as well.
I can imagine.
Good,
It's
nice.
What's your thoughts on boxing now, and in particular these YouTube stars getting involved?
It does make you think, like, obviously, like, I've had a structure where to turn pro, I've had to put years into the amateurs.
Yeah.
So to get my gift to fight in the pros, then you got people who are making,
crazy
7,
money,
8 million for, starting late in a sport. They are making a bit of a mockery, but they're still getting in the ropes.
They're still prepared to take on the chin, so to speak.
Yeah, they are.
They're starting late, and I always find grassroots boxing. I always find you do get exposed. Some people who fight later against two kids, like when you've been surfing like from a young kid, you start late. It's always that harder to get.
Yeah.
That.
You haven't got all that experience of you behind you from the foundation. Amateurs.
Yeah, so I find it is harder, but then Jake Paul goes in there and he's done what he's a salesman at the end. He's done what he's done, and you can't knock him for what he's done.
And he's made a killing.
And he showed it in some respect. As in, you can start later in boxing and get success in some respect. You don't
need to sort of do the foundation.
You can, but yeah, it's a different sort of dynamic that is. But but I'm not a fan of it, but I can appreciate the
draw to do it is money, isn't it?
And like any other man, to go through them ropes is just, I'd say to anyone, it is an achievement alone.
Yeah.
Respect for people, anybody who gets through.
And he's not going against. He's going against. It's not like he's going against a name, more bigger names than some of the fighters like I was going up against. Yeah. Everyone he's got, even though if it's in an MMA sport, he's a striker. He's known for being top of his game in that. So that's a lot of psychology in your head. You're going against, you've got nothing, no skills, less skills than when I was starting, but you're still going in and doing what you're doing. So
it's quite brave, isn't it?
He's very brave,
And I suppose he did fight a boxer and I understand Tommy Fury is like what you'd call a novice boxer maybe, because he hasn't got a load of experience, but he does have that sort of Fury pedigree in him, if you know what I mean, like the whole family of boxers, aren't they?
He's boxed all through his amateurs, and he's obviously been in the Fury, Tyson Fury spotlight, so it's always been hard for him. But he I can understand that pressure on him. There is probably going to be the biggest pressure.
He did have a lot of pressure on him because and even his brother was sort of like, obviously, Tyson. He was saying essentially like, disown you and you're gonna have to change your name, and obviously it would have been him, but like he ended up winning, didn't he? Even though he didn't finish him, but he did win the fight. But the pressure on him to win that.
I think it's like his next 5 or 6 fights, you might find him coming to his own. I think he built himself so much pressure on there that he didn't really get the real Tommy out in that, because do you know what I mean? Because
did you see the interview after it?
His whole career was on it.
Yeah, of course. It really was, wasn't it?
There's no pressure for Jake in some respect.
No, because he can say, I faced a professional boxer who's only 23 years of age, who comes from that lineage, that family. And then also, do you think he'll, invoke the rematch clause that Jake Paul had? Do you reckon they'll do that again?
In the manner of, because it was it's a split decision.
Yeah.
It answers it begs questions, doesn't it? Because it was so close. If he would have knocked him out, there would have been no answer. But because I know he slipped, I think it was his wrong foot in
when he hit him with a jab.
It was. But it's 2 10-8 rounds, because they had a point off as well.
Yeah.
The questions, as in some respect, as in could have been a draw, could have been. There's too many questions and loopholes of answers where he might have to be pushed by the public to maybe take the risk to shut people up.
Tell you what though, they're both getting paid a lot of money though. So I'm thinking, well, say if Tommy fights someone else, he's probably not going to make the same purse as he will do with the rematch. So me thinking as an outsider, and also
next week,
I'd imagine Jake Paul would have won it, because of the money and maybe a little bit of ego, thinking maybe he believes he's beatable. Like in Jake Paul's mind, I'm thinking,
you might as well just stay in the bubble. Just carry fight.
Just
each other. Just keep doing it.
Get like a trilogy in there.
A trilogy. It is.
But you're right, he was under a hell of a lot of pressure in that, because I think at the interview after, I think for like 2 years, people were just telling him you were running scared, you were this or that. And the thing is as well, is like even though they're YouTube stars and everything, look, we're talking about it now.
Yeah,
Boxing.
that's it.
So
Like
it must be
Prime,
doing something positive for
Prime
boxing.
drink.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
I don't
get
understand
that.
that either.
Ira
Rocket
doesn't
fuel.
understand.
Rocket fuel.
Understands, but yeah, I just feel like they're just bringing like marketing, like
They're unbelievable at marketing, but they've got
Yeah.
financial
Business.
backing, haven't they? That's the thing. And they
and you got kids just crying out for it, and I'm just like,
I don't get it.
yeah.
I went to a shop. It was a cost cutter, right? And it was like, I can't remember, outskirts of Aberystwyth. So it was like maybe on the way to Tregaron or something. And I stopped in there and I saw it and I thought I'd read it wrong, right? And it said the Prime drink, and this was in a cost cutter, and it said $7.99 for the bottle of Prime, because these kids are like flogging it on for, I don't know how much a bottle, like 10, 15, 20, whatever. But in the cost cutter, the proper price on it was $7.99. I was like, what?
What is it? Like an energy drink?
A drink. That's all it is. It's just a drink. It's just because KSI and one of the Logan Paul, is it?
Paul, is it?
Yeah, they drink it.
Yeah, I mean it's absolutely mad.
It's crazy.
I guess buy a bottle and sit on it for years and see if it makes any money.
It's not going to be like a wine cellar anymore. It's going to be a Prime cellar.
It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Have you boys got any more questions for Jamie? Because I've got a few little ones, but then nothing major.
Mine have all been answered. Like they were mostly about your career at boxing, and how you dealt with fights. And you said you were pretty much not a bit blasé about your opponents just having a kick before, and because I was really interested because anytime I'd have a role in jiu-jitsu, even though you're trained not to be worried, not to be, you're supposed to relax. Like I'd still have this. Like I hate confrontation. So I still have this little niggle in my head of like I'm about to like scrap a person.
It is.
But you've answered that. You were pretty
I
chill
find
about
it
it all.
interesting though that you just had that sort of like there was like nothing going on and you just like rock up and just start.
Yeah,
just get in there.
Get in there and fight.
Just fight. Yeah, it's just like because I wasn't like just the fear because I used to go to some bills and obviously some people are way bigger and like. Sometimes, like I was a bit rubbery, like a human sponge.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, it's I'd never just get put down to the body, and people just whack me as hard as they can.
Honestly,
and there's nothing used to do. And I remember fighting this guy called Quilton Hillocks. He's big. He looked like a bodybuilder, and he came in. He had a S tattooed on his chest, and he came in. And he had the red boots on, a cape on.
Oh, it's like Superman.
Yeah, so he jumped over the top rope. And I could see everyone just like, this is a mismatch. He's going to go get whitewashed. So I could see people like betting on. This guy's getting all like, but there's always that one pundit that puts money on the other guy, doesn't there? I remember I beat him. I stopped him in the fourth round. And I was coming out the venue and he was slumped up against the wall. He was really drunk. He was counting his money. He goes, "I won on you." He goes, here's 20 quid. He gave me 20 quid. And I was like, it was just like just crazy scene, You just think like, is it everyone? You just look the mismatch,
Of course, and,
and then there's always that one who bets the odds on you. There's always been like the underdog, and
cool. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, no, I'd written down a few questions, but I think I've asked them all, so fire away, Davo.
Just quickly then, with the boxing club you've got running, what nights is it?
It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
And we got kids class 5:30 to 6:20. Then we got the seniors on then 6:30 till 7:30, 7:45.
So male, female, all good?
Yeah. We had our women's
everyone
class running on the Wednesdays, but we stopped that for now until we just need to put a date back when we're going to do that, and then.
And what age is the sort of kids group?
It's 9 to 12, but we are lenient. If
I see,
like 7, that sort of age, as long as they can have some structure of information, because we did have it open, but then we were getting 5-year-olds.
And it loses a bit of focus then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you're trying to have a structure, and people who want to learn, because there is a lot to take in when you're saying, but they're trying to get your footwork, your left, automatically, because you need enough your left hand, your jabs, you always want to throw with your right, don't you? So it's trying to drill in, and it is a lot to take in within the hour. So I find that little bit of age does make a difference.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're getting a little crazy kids. Like, you
Just
put the
kids
ladder on
running
one
around
time
everywhere.
under it, you know, to put that, ruin it for the whole kid. You just got it on his head, you know,
Yeah.
like punching another kid in the back of the head. You know?
Yeah.
I can't imagine my kids listening that well in a boxing class. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest. So yeah, I
It
can
is,
understand.
you take
doing
your
a bit
eye off
older.
them, and we're like,
Yeah.
it got to the point where you're looking around and they got pole fit in there, and they got poles. One's got his head out, like in the, you got the flooring tiles sort of his head off to the top of the thing, and one's climbing on the ropes. So it got to the point where we had to put an age.
I have lost control of this.
And there's like ropes and stuff, you know.
Oh
so
my gosh.
So is it best for someone just to sort of pop over on those days if they're interested?
Come over and then we do try and have like a structure of like, because I'm quite a fan believer, like it's like anything you do, like if you don't, you just let a kid go and throw punches on the bag, they pick up bad habits. They hit him with open palms, they're slapping.
Yeah.
So I'm a big founder of bringing your footwork, getting your foot right, and then you think sometimes it's a bit boring and monotonous, but I find your structure from your footwork brings everything to the way you throw your power and your shots. So having that good footwork and bringing that through. So I find just stick in, get your footwork good, and then bring on. Then your punches will come, and then your frame and your structure will come from there.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a matter of just getting through the steps, really.
Yeah.
And I found when I was learning, I wasn't throwing punches on the bag or doing anything. That's why I find our generation, the boys at the club, their footworks are very good, and they're very hard to turn.
Yeah.
They're very strong.
Yeah.
Their core's strong.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nightmares.
yeah, you can get some nights where you get kids on the bag and they just, it's like when you're driving as a kid, when they're underage, so you pick up bad habits, don't you? They're just
You do, yeah. Yeah, you will do.
Yeah.
I love how you looked at Dave when you said that.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of.
Okay. I did have another question then, but it's completely gone from the top of my head. Right. Quick fire questions, just a couple, just to sort of finish things off a little bit, Jamie, if that's all right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk?
I've got to go with Tyson, just because Usyk's a small, heavy. So just on size and just leaning and bullying, I find he'll find... I think Tyson will have to keep his wits because his hands are fast. But I just think over the later rounds, that weight will play into effect and that power will... There's nothing worse than being in a clinch with someone, because I've been up there on the weights where the boy's bigger than you and you can feel their presence, just bumping against, and then feeling their elbow leaning on you. Just feeling
Heavy.
like it's hard work, So I just feel, Tyson Fury,
Okay.
just on ring craft as well.
I think I agree with you.
When is that one? Is that coming up, is it?
I don't think it's anything's happening with that yet. It's just
It's all under...
Yeah,
It's in the pipeline one day.
They're trying to make it, I assume.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what his thoughts were on it if it did sort of happen.
Yeah.
Jake Paul
Yeah.
or Jamie Ambler?
Well, when I was fit and I was thinking back, I would fancy my chances. Even against, I thought Tommy, it's the sort of fight when I was fighting at super middle and middle, because he's my weight.
They both sort of are.
Yeah. If they were up and coming in the pros, the phone call would have come to me. So I could have been.
Yeah.
And I know Nick, like with his, I would have had a go at him, and Nick would have said, "You got a chance," because it's just me on the day, really. If I could have my fit,
If I've had a nap or not, get in there.
or we've been in Yurkos, I mean before. So
And we Admirals.
Who's your favourite boxer?
Well, that's a good question, yeah.
I am a big fan of Ali.
Yeah.
Ali,
okay.
he just for what he stands and
Of course.
and I do like the old the Fantastic Four, like Sugar Ray, Robert Duran, Marvin Hagler. I do love them fights and the Guy Ward fights as well.
Yeah,
I like them.
Amazing
fights.
those fights. Occasionally I'll put them on YouTube. Guy Warder, and it's just incredible, isn't it? It's just incredible.
Yeah, I do appreciate the old school fighters, and I think even though like it's gone to a marketing thing with the boxing and it is gone, I think it's a way harder sport back then days.
Yeah.
No matter what, it was hard.
Seems like
and
they
it
were
sells more. It used to sell, like York Hall, Bethnal Green. I was lucky enough to fight there, and it's one of the prizes of boxing. Like back in the olden days, you wouldn't have to sell tickets. It's first comes, first served. The queue.
Yeah.
They knew what they were getting. The queues were massive. And,
Yeah.
The fights and stuff. Yeah.
I always think Mike Tyson when it comes like a favourite boxer. He was the scariest person alive
and
at that moment.
The stare downs when he just sort of like, I love those old like.
Most exciting, and imagine being around it like, obviously like.
Can you imagine being in the heavyweight division when he was floating about it thinking,
the fear factor.
no. Imagine getting the phone call saying, no, you're fighting Mike Tyson next weekend. What?
This weekend?
I quit.
No.
Let's go down on the wind off the punch.
No thanks. Just run.
That's it.
Favourite film?
Film.
It is a tough one, this one.
I got Bubble. I'm a big fan of Gladiator.
Ew.
Con Air.
Con Air, love Con Air.
Two absolute belters.
Different movies, but like
only slightly.
put the bunny back in the box.
Con Air is classic.
I love Con Air.
Brilliant film.
That always, the two of my stand-up films I do. love.
Gladiator's awesome.
Jerry
Gladiator.
Bruckheimer movie.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
I love
Gladiator
Dom's
too.
in like the living room, like he's running around in Gladiators. I'm like, just put it on. I watch a couple of scenes, not looking, he's on his tablet or something, really gruesome bits, I'll switch over.
Well, number 2's coming.
Yeah, it is.
Gladiator 2's coming.
Yeah, they're making number 2 apparently.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Favourite chocolate bar?
Pardon?
Favourite chocolate bar?
I'd say, I like a twirl or
Messy, but nice.
twirl.
What's Messi's a flake?
No, flakes are messy.
Just out the fridge.
Twix or a Boost as well.
Oh, Boost.
Boost.
Good choice.
Yeah, Boost and Star Bars and sugar tough.
Twix is probably my second least favourite.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twix.
Couldn't really call it a chocolate bar.
It's a biscuit, isn't it, really, with a bit of caramel on it.
Caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, twirl.
Yeah. It's a bit of on the spot, like a bit of a.
No, I know.
Like,
You're going, why did I not say?
A
Snickers.
A few others.
No, I think I'm done, Jane, with the questions, if that's okay with you, mate.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, or is there anything?
Any more about, like, Charlie? I don't mind anything, if you think there's anything, other questions you.
I don't know, have you got anything, Dukes or Med? Do you want to talk about anything at all?
I just, like, just to speak personally, like, I don't feel like I've known you like that well. You've always been like on the circle of my friendship groups, and Rich, Chris, etc.
Yeah.
But mate, I really feel close to you. Like, I really appreciate you coming on, and
thank you guys. Yeah,
it's been amazing just talking to you properly. Like,
that's because like obviously like you boys like obviously like I'm talking about my boxing, but like when I was growing up, I looked at you. You were cool guys. The surf guys, like back in the day, like I looked like as in like I know I couldn't surf, but like in a way like you guys had a lot of admirers as well. I was the same one of myself as well.
But I used to
really cool guys.
I used to see you. I used to see you and Gorman and be like, they're boxers. Like, they're fucking boxers.
No, I'm as in like I think you've been pretty honest, and like I feel like because it's hard, isn't it? It's hard to come on a show. I know I've mentioned before, but like it's the whole purpose of it, isn't it? And like naturally, I've got this weird thing when I like fight against it. So when I had to talk about my dad when I lost my dad,
it is. Yeah,
I find it quite hard, isn't it? And then the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel with talking about it. And it's and
there was some great times with my parents, like my mum, and like who else could say like as a kid, like when I was 5 or 6, I think in that bracket of when I was 4 to 10, I've been to Glastonbury 3 times as a kid.
No way,
really?
I was running around.
Really did like a festival then,
literally naked running around in Glastonbury.
No way,
and stuff like and
get thrown out for that now.
Yeah, mum was she was a biker, like Isle of Man TT races.
Really,
wow,
side carts, and it was more like love, peace, and it was a bit more like when you go to festival these days, it's a bit more closed. But like it was way more open when I was
Yeah.
there.
I bet it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say like the boundary of like there was a lot of pros and like different where you think, oh, you did that, that's cool.
Yeah.
But because I got that from, because my mum was like,
Yeah.
sort of like hippie, you know. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's enjoyments in. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your honesty on
Yeah.
here and everything, and I think what you've done, like I said before, isn't it? You know, you might not have had the easiest sort of time, you know, but yeah, it's commendable and amazing what you've achieved and everything, and you're a great dad and everything. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Well done, Jamie.
Yeah.
Well done.
And I just wanted to help promote sort of the boxing you're doing as well, because you know, we've talked about it on numerous occasions. Exercise is not only good for you, like it's good for your mind, obviously.
Yeah, and
so it's good that what you're doing.
Yeah, and I always have people like, obviously, like you always say, people with like mental health. Like I will open the door to someone if they need to hit the pads or to clear that head.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said, just drop me a message.
Yeah.
And like with the chap Cecil, his son, like I said, it's open the gym and just come in and just
let it out.
Just
that
20, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just let it out and forget about something. You know, forget about I always believe, like, as a boxing club, it is a safe zone for some people.
Yeah,
it is.
You're right.
It is, and it does block out a lot of demons from people, and you can be someone else in there, you know, and
nice.
It's nice.
It's a good way of letting things go, isn't it? I guess.
Exactly. Yeah,
you know, everyone's got their sort of.
More of a thought of where I've been working with. I've had like a few chances where like I was working with a boy, where his attendance was really bad in school, and his mum came to me to do classes. He would get up for my class and then go to school, but he wouldn't go to school. So I've sort of a niche where I maybe want to go down, like working like with like boxing, but with like psychology in with it, you know, like using that as a balance as well to help people.
Yeah.
And give them a guidance as well. Like, so I really enjoy doing stuff like that.
Amazing.
So, and it increased his attendance and
really
massively just because he wanted to come to my class, so he knew he went to school. So like
a little bit more structure there as well.
I
suppose,
he wouldn't get
You'd be better off for that.
and I enjoyed doing that and helping. And we got a few other projects where we might be running, working with like underprivileged kids who can't afford, like, I know it's not much, it's only £3 a night, but they don't come up, and there's like a 10-week program, and they come and do training. They have like a policeman talking to them 15 minutes, and then they do a class with us.
Okay.
So they do over 10 weeks, and then maybe start it back up if they enjoy it.
That sounds really good.
And then we do like a presentation then at the end.
Yeah.
And a bit of food for them. Yeah, so
Oh, wonderful.
I was a bit surprised. Like a withheld number rang me. I said, "Oh, this is the police." Oh God, what have I done now? And then they offer they get funding, and they've done it in a few areas now. And
That sounds really good.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's good. And I really enjoy doing it as well. So
Yeah.
I see myself going down that approach.
Yeah. Helping
Amazing.
people, I suppose.
It's good. Yeah,
Should do that.
And using the boxing in with it, because it gave me a structure. Definitely in life.
Yeah.
So
If your life's a bit shaky,
and it made me
keep it down.
quite a lot. Really, it made me the person I am today. Really,
Yeah.
boxing. So it's really
Great.
happy.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you.
really
Thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.